stop what you are doing right now. For the next few seconds, ignore the notifications, the noise of the street, and the voices in your head telling you that you have something more important to do. Breathe. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. Feel the air entering your lungs. Now, I ask you a question that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. What guarantees that you are not dreaming right now? What if everything you touched today, everyone you spoke to, and all the worries that kept you awake were merely an electrical construct? An interface designed to hide something you are not ready to see? This video did not reach you by an algorithm error. Chance is just the name we give to a law we do not yet understand. If you are here, it is because your mental cell has just developed its first crack. What if this video was the beginning of your true awakening? The first bar of our prison is not made of iron, but of flesh and electricity. We call it the senses. We take pride in our vision, but science tells us that we see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. The world is flooded with colors you will never see, radio frequencies passing through your body right now, and Wi-Fi waves connecting the planet, but to your eyes, the air is empty. We are like a radio tuned to a single station, believing that the rest of the dial is silence. But the silence is full of music. Think about your brain. It lives in a dark, silent box called the skull. It has never seen the sun. It has never heard a sound. All it receives are electrical signals. It interprets these signals and creates, for you, the illusion of a solid, colorful, and world. Solid? Physics tells us that atoms are 99.9% empty space. If you could remove the empty space from all the atoms that make up the human race, the entire population would fit inside a sugar cube. So why do things feel solid? Why does pain feel real? Because the simulation needs you to believe in it for the rules to work. The first layer of awakening is understanding that you live in an interpretation of reality, not in reality itself. It is terrifying to think that our senses are filters that hide more than they show. But the question that really matters is, why were we designed this way? Why would a being of infinite potential, like you, agree to live in a box limited by 5 fragile senses and a 24-hour routine? The answer lies in a truth that ancient religions and occult philosophers tried to tell us for millennia, but it was buried by the noise of consumption and the ego. We are living in what the ancients called the Great Illusion. But to understand how to leave, we first need to understand who the architect of this prison is. And to the surprise of many, the jailer is not on the outside. Before we continue, I need to extend an invitation. Most people will close this video now. Their minds will seek a quick distraction, empty entertainment, anything to return them to the comfort of their cell. But if you are still here, it is because something in you has already begun to vibrate at a different frequency. On this channel, we do not seek easy answers. We seek the way out of the labyrinth. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. By doing this, you are sending a signal to your own subconscious. A signal that you are ready to see beyond the veil. Do not be just a passenger in this simulation. Become the observer. Now, let us return to the architect of our prison. In Gnosticism, they speak of an entity called the demiurge, a false god, who, believing himself to be the only one, created the material world to trap sparks of divine light in bodies of clay. To the Gnostics, matter is the very definition of prison. In the East, the Vedas tell us about Maya, the veil of illusion that makes the absolute appear fragmented. You look in the mirror and you see you. A name, an age, a career, a set of traumas. Maya smiles. Because as long as you believe you are that image in the mirror, you are trapped. The ego is the most efficient jailer ever created. It keeps you busy with a past you cannot change and a future that does not exist. It makes you fear death when, in fact, you were never born, because what you truly are, is eternal. Imagine you are in a movie theater. The film is intense. You cry, you feel fear, you identify with the hero. But suddenly you look back and see the beam of light coming from the projector. At that moment, the movie loses its power over you. You still see it, but you know it is just light on a white screen. Awakening is the act of looking at the projector. In the coming minutes, we will dive into the science that is beginning to prove what the mystics always knew. We will talk about simulation theory and how quantum physics is, literally, finding the seams in the fabric of this reality. But be careful. Once you see the seams, the fabric will never look the same again. I promised you that once you saw the seams, the fabric of reality would never look the same. Simulation theory suggests that we are not in a world of matter, but in a world of data. And the first seam is right in front of you, yet you've been trained to ignore it. The world only exists when you are looking at it. This isn't just a theory. Science proved this through something called the Double Slit Experiment. Physicists discovered that atoms, the basic building blocks of everything you touch, do not behave like solid objects until someone observes them. Before your observation, they are just a wave of possibilities. It's as if reality is saving memory, waiting for you to turn your head so it can render what's behind you. Think of your favorite video game. The console doesn't waste energy processing what's happening inside a building you can't see. The game only draws the reality that is right before your eyes. Our universe does exactly the same. The speed of light isn't a physical limit. It's the processing speed of this simulator. And the pixels of this giant screen you call life? They are the smallest particles of existence, where matter stops being real and becomes pure code. But the system makes mistakes. And the most terrifying mistake of all is what we call the Mandela Effect. How is it possible that millions of people share the same detailed memory of something that official history says never existed? Millions of people swear that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s, even remembering the funeral, when in fact he was released alive and died decades later. Or the evil queen's line in Snow White. You probably remember her saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," but if you check now, the code says, "Magic mirror on the wall." Psychology tries to say your memory failed, but the truth is deeper. It's the programmer editing the past, a patch update in the code, but your soul refuses to accept it. You remember the world as it was before it was overwritten. This leads us to the center of the labyrinth. Stop for a moment and feel who you are. Look at the story you tell about yourself, the name you were given, and the fears that surround you. Now, face the only question that truly matters, the one capable of collapsing this entire illusion. Are you the character suffering inside the screen, or are you the eternal consciousness holding the controller? Dive into this reflection. The character is a social construct. It is the one defined by titles, possessions, and what others think. The character lives in panic, believing its existence ends when the credits roll. But the observer is the silent presence that watches everything. It is not affected by drama, time, or pain. The Matrix spends every cent and every pixel to keep your attention glued to the avatar. The media, social networks, and fear-based news are designed to hijack your focus. They need you to keep reacting, feeling fear and anger, so you keep rendering a reality of conflict and scarcity that serves them. They fight for your attention because your attention is the creation tool of this world. No moment you recognize yourself as the observer, you realize the joystick has always been in your hand. You stop being a victim of the script and become the author of your own plot. Have you ever felt like time stopped for a second while the world kept spinning? In that brief instant, the connection to the server failed. You saw the black screen behind the image. What you felt there was your true self trying to wake you up from the anesthesia. Now, I offer you an invitation that the system fears. Close your eyes. Dive into the silence now. Let all the masks fall. Forget your debts, your traumas, and who the world forced you to be. Feel that pulse in the center of your chest. It's a longing, isn't it? A longing for a home you can't describe, but that your soul recognizes in every beat. This pain you feel sometimes isn't sadness. It's the cry of your infinite nature trying to tear through the digital veil. You are not a drop fighting against the ocean. You are the entire ocean compressed into a drop, just to feel the ecstasy of awakening. Now, open your eyes and see the truth. See the colors as pixels of light and the world around you as a projection of your own mind. Feel the shock. Solid reality is dead. What remains is an infinite field of possibilities, waiting for the true you to decide what to create from now on. Awakening is the moment when your insignificance vanishes and you meet eternity. This video was the coded signal your soul was waiting for. The final handshake between your human self and your divinity. This is your first step out of the cell. If you feel that your soul has finally heard the call, don't let this frequency die. Subscribe and become part of the resistance of those who have decided to see. Turn on notifications, for our journey to master the hidden laws of this system is only beginning. Signal to the simulator that you have awakened. Leave a comment now with the phrase, "The observer has taken control." The screen will soon go dark. The world will try to pull you back into the trance. But you will never look at the mirror, or the stars, the same way again. Stay sharp. Stay awake. The exit was never a place. It was always you.